A young woman walks into one of the most exclusive hotels in Manhattan. She's in designer clothes, she's got a German accent, and when the bill comes, she tips the staff in crisp $100 bills like it's nothing. Her name is Anna Delvey, and everyone around her is sure of one thing. This girl is seriously rich, a German heiress, sitting on a trust fund worth around $60 million. There's just one problem. None of it was true. Anna Delvey wasn't even her real name. There was no fortune. And as one prosecutor later put it, she didn't have a cent to her name. What she had instead was nerve. And with it, she pulled off one of the boldest cons New York had seen in years. Her real name is Anna Sorokin. She was born in Russia, and when she was a teenager, her family moved to Germany. Her dad wasn't a diplomat or an oil baron, whatever she told people later. He was a former truck driver who ran a heating and cooling business, a completely ordinary background. But Anna wanted something very different for herself. She moved to New York in her early 20s, and somewhere along the way, she stopped being Anna Sorokin and became Anna Delvey, glamorous German heiress. She dressed the part, stayed in expensive boutique hotels, ate at the right restaurants, and showed up at the right parties. And the thing is, in a city like New York, if you look rich and act rich and spend like you're rich, people fill in the rest themselves. Nobody wants to be the one who asks the heiress to prove she has money. That's exactly what she counted on. Anna was very good at making people believe her, partly because she clearly believed it herself. She talked about her family fortune like it was the most normal thing in the world. She name-dropped, she picked up the tab. She carried herself like someone who'd never once worried about a bill. Slowly, she built a whole circle around her. Wealthy friends, art world people, and most importantly, bankers and business people who could help her with what she really wanted. Because Anna had a dream, and it was a big one. She wanted to open her own private members club, a kind of exclusive art space in a huge building in Manhattan. And she was going to call it the Anna Delvey Foundation. To do that, she needed money. A lot of money. So she set out to convince some of the most careful institutions in the world to simply hand it to her. This is where it goes from a girl playing dress-up to actual fraud. To get her club funded, Anna needed the banks to believe she was good for it. So she made the documents to match. Using nothing more than a word processor on her own computer, she created fake bank statements showing she had around 60 million euros sitting in accounts in Switzerland, money she said she couldn't touch yet because it was locked in a trust. She even faked having an accountant and a financial advisor to back the story up. With that, she went after a $22 million loan to build her foundation. This young woman, with no real money and no real assets, walked into major banks asking for $22 million and got them to take her seriously. One bank actually got far enough to lend her $100,000 up front, which she never paid back. And it wasn't just the banks. She bounced from one luxury hotel to the next without ever settling the bills. She chartered a private jet to fly to a business event and left a $35,000 bill behind. And in the most personal example of all, she invited a friend on a lavish trip to Morocco. And when the hotel needed a card on file, it was the friend who got stuck with a bill of more than $60,000, money she then spent months trying to get back. For a while, the whole thing held together, mostly because Anna kept moving. She'd promise a wire transfer was on its way, or that her trust was about to release the funds, and people would wait. But the cracks were starting to show. The hotels wanted their money, and at one point, she was locked out of her own room until she paid up. Her cards started getting declined in front of people, and the banks, when they finally did their homework, couldn't confirm a single thing about this supposed Swiss fortune. The one institution she'd hoped would fund her foundation asked her to prove where the money came from. And of course, she couldn't, because it didn't exist. The story that had carried her for years was finally being asked the one question it couldn't survive. Where is the money? Once people started really looking, it came apart fast. The friend who'd been stuck with the Morocco bill went to the authorities. Hotels and banks compared notes, and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office began pulling at the threads, the bounced checks, the unpaid bills, the forged documents, the accounts that didn't add up. Every piece they checked pointed to the same thing. The heiress was broke, and had been the whole time. In October 2017, they caught up with her. She was lured out to California and arrested, and she ended up in a New York jail awaiting trial. Around the same time, journalists got hold of the story, and it exploded. The tale of the fake heiress who fooled New York's elite was suddenly everywhere, and it would later be turned into a hit Netflix series. Her trial in 2019 was a sensation. For weeks, banker after banker and friend after friend took the stand to explain how they'd been taken in by a woman in her 20s with some fake bank statements and a convincing accent. In the end, the jury convicted her on several counts of grand larceny and theft of services. She was sentenced to between 4 and 12 years in prison, fined, and ordered to pay back what she could. All told, prosecutors said she'd actually stolen somewhere around $275,000. But the part that really sticks is how much further she nearly got. She came within reach of a $22 million loan with nothing behind her but confidence and a few documents she'd typed up herself. And even after everything, Anna showed barely any regret. Not long after her sentencing, she told a reporter she wasn't sorry for any of it. By then, something strange had happened too. She'd become a sort of celebrity, the subject of articles and documentaries, with people oddly fascinated by how one young woman had managed to fool so many smart people for so long. There was no weapon. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got threatened. Nothing got hacked. Anna Sorokin stole a fortune and tried to steal a much bigger one using the oldest tool there is. She got people to believe a story because deep down, they wanted it to be true. If a confident stranger in the right clothes told you they were worth $60 million, would you have questioned it? Or would you have wanted in too? Let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there.